It is time to formally introduce my newest board and train. This is Chip, aka Chip Dip, aka Chippy Dippy. 4-year-old border collie coming from Chicago, if you can believe it. I still cannot get over that his owners drove 10 hours to drop him off here. Hey, wrong way, buddy. Over here. Over here. His owners drove 10 hours to bring him here, which is just mind-boggling to me, but very flattering. He clearly doesn't have a problem with dogs. He's been around them. This is day 4 of him being here. But his main problem is human aggression, which the evaluation, unfortunately, in my opinion, was very uneventful. I suited up just to really be able to see what he was going to do, and he didn't do anything, so it looked complete overkill. I looked like a clown. The most that I got out of him with putting a decent amount of pressure, and by pressure I mean just like standing really, really close to him and like sticking my arm out, was a lip snarl, but like no intention of biting whatsoever. I mean, it's there. I've seen videos of it that they have sent me, so I know it is there. I can't really take that evaluation for face value because it was a long travel day. He's in a new environment, so like sometimes that can just throw them off and make them not show their true colors. And I'm sure it probably is worse at home instead of out in public. But he is going to be here for the next 6 weeks to deal with the human aggression. The last few days I've pretty much just played with him. He has a ton of drive to play. He actually a few years ago broke his leg playing ball. He's that intense. But I've been playing with him, taking him for long walks, getting him out with the dogs, and just kind of like taking my time. I don't generally jump right into training right away. I want to build some sort of rapport and relationship with the dog before I just start bossing them around. Now, with that said, I have been testing what he knows obedience-wise. He's not off-leash reliable, so that's the other thing that we're going to do, and I think that'll be incredibly simple for this dog. But I tested all of his other obedience just in the backyard, and it is crazy. Like, he's insanely advanced obedience. I've never had a dog be dropped off here that has this foundation. So I'm not taking any credit for that he already came with that, which is cool because it's going to save me a chunk of time having to teach any of that. I can just utilize it and proof it for other things. But really just goes to show obedience is important, don't get me wrong, but you can have a great level of obedience and still have behavioral problems. They are not connected. The plan to deal with the behavioral problems is not really going to have a whole lot to do with obedience. And it's funny because if he were to go to any other like traditional style program, I don't think they would know what to do with him, because they would, even for behavior modification programs, which most people still just do obedience because they don't know how to actually deal with the behavioral side of things, they would probably just start doing obedience and see right away, like, holy shit, he is incredibly advanced in his obedience. And then they wouldn't know what to do, or they would just keep drilling and drilling and drilling obedience without actually dealing with the behavioral problem. That would weed out like 90% of people in the country that are behavioral experts that just cookie cutter, do obedience, avoid the problem, teach him a rock solid place command, which he does know. That's kind of what they use for the behavioral stuff right now to prevent it from leading to biting of a person. Anybody can realistically explain to me how stepping on a giant button changes the emotions about how a dog feels about people in a way that includes logic? I'm all ears. But I've never seen it work, because there is no relation between the two. It would weed out like 90% of the behavioral experts out there and prove that they don't actually know how to deal with behavior, because what they would do is just your standard obedience, and that would get you to where we are today. A dog with fantastic obedience that still has behavioral problems. So how we are actually going to tackle this issue is changing the emotions, the way he feels about people. And the other beauty is he has never, I don't think, actually been punished for it. So we will absolutely have to do that at some point. And knock on wood, I think this is actually going to be fairly simple. It's just a matter of finding the right time. This is where the obedience is not important. The foundation between us, the connection, the relationship that we have, the trust, the authority, all of that, that is going to make a difference. That's what has to be installed. And then when he is ready to meet a new person, punishing it, I'm not going to have to be super physically hard on him. I generally am not. But it's going to like emotionally kind of destroy him, which is what I want, because he's going to be like, oh shit, I upset you. And that hurts me. So, knock on wood, might be my famous last words, that I think this is easy. The tricky part, I don't know if it'll be that tricky, but is like generalizing that whole idea. He loves to play, so that's going to be a very big help for introducing him to new people. I obviously got to get some guinea pigs in the suit at some point so that we have the opportunity to let him, hopefully I will actually see it in person. Then we have the opportunity to address it without anybody actually getting hurt. So that is the plan, and then the idea of that is to change the perception of people, like whatever story he has cooked up in his mind, show him, hey, you're wrong, and then generalize that to multiple people, because he's been cool with me right off the bat, like from day one, which is not uncommon, but it doesn't matter if he's great with me. I need him to be great with other people as well and realize, okay, they're no big deal. So unfortunately I don't have really any like great before footage because his evaluation was very uneventful, but I will see if but I may include some clips of the videos that she has sent me to show some of his blow-ups, to at least show what we were starting with. And then again, hopefully I will see it when he is ready to actually meet a new person. So stay tuned. Chip from Chattown.